Hey guys, welcome back to my discussion on visual analytics using Power BI. So in my last session, I discussed about the DAX concepts and we worked on certain measures, calculated columns and tables. In this session, I'm going to discuss about the next module in our course, that is reports and visualizations. So I'll be working with some of the features along where I'll be discussing with the visual segments and the filters, slicers, maps, and how we can change the theme and how we can format a report. So before I start the discussion, let us have a walkthrough of the agenda for the session. So in reports and visuals, we're going to cover the following data points, and we'll be working on some of the practical examples implementing those. So I'll start the session with a simple dashboard. So whatever measures we have created till now in our previous session, I'll be creating a simple dashboard and I'll be implementing all these the following topics like text table, matrix table. We'll see how we can format a report, slicers, filters, and then I'll be going into visual interaction, drill down options, and talking about bookmarks, maps. And at the end, I'll be talking about the types of visuals we can work with. And along with that, we'll see how we can work with the custom visuals that are available in the Power BI marketplace. With that, let us begin and see how we can create a simple dashboard and able to apply the other topics that are in line for today's session. So this is the small project that we are working with, the scalar import data, and we have been working with some of the DAX formulas in our last session. So let us see how we can use this formula. So till now we have been implementing this kind of formulas or this kind of measures, tables independently just to understand the concept. Now let us build a small dashboard and see how we can implement the other features of reports and visuals through this particular example. So what I can do, I can create a dashboard over here. So let me name this page as dashboard 1. And I'll start with a text table. So I'll click on the text table over here. So by now you're familiar with most of the visuals in the visual pan. So what I can do, I can start with a text table. And the first thing that I'm going to bring over here is a date. Let me remove the date hierarchy over here. And let me bring the total sales the total profit. So this is the first visual in our dashboard which we have created using a measure. Now, what I can do, let me bring one more card over here. And this time I want to place the number of transaction over here. And what I can do, I can just place the card over here. Now, I'll be talking about the formatting in detail. First, let us build the dashboard first, and then we can just start working on the report format. And then we can change the themes, everything. Let me bring one more card over here. And let me bring the total profit or the average daily sales this time. And let me place this card over here. Now things will be looking a bit messy over here because the reports are not properly aligned or they're not formatted. Formatting is a different part. I'll be taking each of the visuals over here. I'll start working on the format part. Now the next thing that I'm going to take is a slicer. So let me quickly build this particular dashboard. And this slicer, I'll be using a country slicer or region slicer, a region column over here. And let me keep this slicer over here. So I'm just bringing the components over here before I start formatting it. The next visual that I can bring over here is a bar chart. And what I can do, I can bring the state over here and the sales in the value field. So let me arrange this particular chart over here. The next chart that I can bring over here is an area chart. So I can just click on this particular chart and let me bring the product details into the axis. And from the time intelligence, let me bring the sales last year and the secondary value and the total sales in the single value. Fine. So we have created a simple dashboard keeping in mind all the measures that we have created mainly. We have also applied a slicer over here. Now slicer is a type of a filter. Now what is the difference between slicer and filter? I'll be talking about that particular in a few seconds. Now this is a simple dashboard which contains a lot of visuals in a single interface. Now let me create one more dashboard. So I'll take one more new page and let me rename this particular page as dashboard 2. And this time let me take a matrix table and let me bring the date component over here. Let me remove the hierarchy. No, I need a hierarchy for the matrix table. So let the hierarchy be there. And in the value part, what I can do, I can bring the 2019 cells and 2020 cells. Okay, so let me expand this hierarchy. And let me expand this particular table. Fine. The next chart that I'm going to take, let me take what I can take over here. Let me take a pie chart or donut chart. And for the donut chart field, you can see there are 4 field factors or the field components that we need to supply over here. So what I can do for the legends, what I can do, I can take the product name over here and the total cost in the value part. And let me keep this aside. So it needs a lot of formatting, right? So I'll do the formatting, don't worry about that. The next chart which I want to take is a horizontal bar graph. And this time what I can do, I need to know the quantity supplied. So let's go to the sales table. And let me bring the quantity in the value. And what I can do, I can take the customer name in the axis. So we have a pie chart, we have a quantity table over here, we have a bar graph over here. The next chart I'm going to take is combo chart. Let us bring a combo chart. So what I can do, I can change this chart setting and I can bring it over here. And I can extend it. So let it be over here. So next chart I'm going to work with is a combo chart. Now over here, what I can bring the something from the region. So let us bring the city in the shared axis, and from the main major I can bring the total sales in the column value and the profit in the line value. So what I was thinking, why can't we change this city with a product name? So that will give an accurate answer. A lot of questions. Yeah, that looks good. Now we are done with this particular dashboard. This is dashboard 2 and that is a dashboard 1. Now the next topic that I'm going to talk about is a text table and a matrix table. In this dashboard 1, I have used a text table. Now this text table is a table which is used for quantitative analysis. You can bring the data over here and you can just compare the data in terms of sales, profit, sales last year, anything. So text table, what it does, it helps to present the data in a tabular form and it helps you to do a quantitative analysis on your data. So it's the most commonly used visual in Power BI and it's a very important visual that we use in a day-to-day reporting. So text table we can use it in the most common way, but you should know as for which kind of data you want to represent. Comparing a data and you can just compare the actuals versus the budget. This kind of comparison can be easily done with the text table. The next table that I've used is a matrix table. Now this table is a very special table. Matrix table, what it does, it creates a hierarchy in your data. Matrix table is a very interactive visual in Power BI. So you can bring the data in terms of the date and you can just drill down to your data. This is a very good example of a drill down. So I started from year, then I've gone quarter, month and day. So you can go to the end point of your data, drilling through your data, starting from a hierarchy from year, date and any kind of data that you're using. So matrix table, the difference between matrix and text table is that matrix table help us to drill through our data and text table help us to do a quantitative analysis through our data, where we can bring the data in over the text table and we can compare the data in terms of sales last year, actual versus the budget, or the sales versus the profit that we have achieved. So this kind of comparison is good in terms of text table, and matrix table helps you to drill through your data. So it provides a drill through mechanism where you can just bring the data and you can just go till the last granularity of your data and you can just use it as a better report compared to the text table. Now coming to report formatting, it's a very important thing. Now I have brought all the reports over here. Let me start with the dashboard over here. So I have brought all the reports over here. Now these reports, the visuals that I have used over this particular dashboard needs to be formatted so that it becomes more interactive. The first thing that we can do over here is to give a borders for each of the report. So how can we give a border? We can just select any of the visuals and all kinds of formatting for report visuals are taken place through this format option. So there's a paintbrush option just beside the value fields. You can click on this particular option and what you can do, you can start giving borders to your report. So I've taken a text table. Now this particular format changed with the visuals that you use from the visualization pane. So what you can do, you can select a visual, you can come over here and you can start giving a border to your report. So there's a border option over here. So there's a border option over here. And what you can do, you can enable this border option and my report has got a border. The same thing you can do for the other reports. You can just select the report and you can just give a border to that. Now I'm showing you in a way, taking the common formatting factor for each of the visuals. So I can enable this. I can come over here and I can give a border. Now my report has got a border. Now that I've got a border, I can align the reports as per my convenience. So I can see I am aligning this particular report as per my convenience. Now coming back to the text table. Let me align this a bit so it looks good. I'm just keeping a space between each of the reports. Now, starting with the text table. Now, what I can do a bit of formatting over here. What kind of format? I have selected this particular report and I come over here. And in the general, we have options like width, height, text. We can change the text of the position. You can just, if you change the position text to 15, you can see there's a change in the text position. So let's keep it to default. You do not disturb this because these are the all report alignment options over here. We can do a bit of styling. So this is a default style of a table. Now in styling, if you click over here, there are a lot of style options over here, like a bold header. If you select a bold header, you can see the headers of the report has been updated. You have a different style like alternate rows. So if you select it, you can see the alternate rows has been gray in color. You can select some other styling options like flashy rows. So you can see the color of the report has changed. So what my favorite option is over here is a alternative rows. So this gives a very mature look to this particular report by the bold headers and the bold totals and alternative gray. So these are kind of the basic formatting you can do over here. Coming to the cards. So this is a card I have selected. Now in the card, what I can do, I can choose to remove the category. So what is a category? Why? If I disable this, you can see the total transaction title has been removed. So you can play with the category. You can change the color of the category. So if you want to make a brighter color, you can just keep it to this particular options. Now every report has its own themes. You need to be very careful while while making the reports. So if you're using a similar theme for a report, so if you're using this kind of text color for this report, make sure that all your reports have a same option or same color. Now this is a report that I have created over here. So I have changed the color of the text. Now what I can do, I can come to the data level once more and I can play around the display unit. Now suppose if you don't want this 11K to be displayed over here, you want the whole value instead of. So over you can come over the data label and you can just click on the default value in the display unit under data label is auto. You can choose to none to see the total transaction as a whole. The same thing you can do for the next card. You can just come over here and you can just click on none and you can have a total value over here. The next format option that I'll be working with is a slicer. A slicer is a very important option in any dashboard. Now in this slicer, you can see that I've taken the country components over here. So what I can do, I can change the slicer type. By default, it is a list slicer. What I can do, I can click on this arrow over here and I can make it to a drop down. Now if I click on this slicer, I can get the country name with a scroll bar. I can also do some other options, like if I go to format and if you select this particular slicer and go to format, you can see the selection control. Over here, you can have an option called show select all. So you can, if you select this particular, enable this particular option, you can see there's an all option, select all option over here. You can also change the outlier colors, outline, expositions, height over here. We can also come down to the items, and for each of the items you can change the color. So I want to change this color to what I can say, I can change it to blue. And the background color of the slicer, let me keep it as a very light color as gray, so it'll be visible for us. So for gray, let me keep it as black. It looks good now. You can also come to the title part. You can enable the title over here, and you can change, you can give a title text over here, any kind of text. Already there's a title over here, country, right? But anyway, you can give a text over here. You can already, I have already enabled the borders. If you enable shadow, you can see there's a shadow for each of the visual. For the slicer, there's a shadow behind it, so you can enable the shadow for each of the visuals that I've used. You can come down and you can enable the shadow, and you can change the color of the shadow also. You can keep it to dark, light, anything. So the formatting is all about the look and feel of your dashboard, and it's very important because your dashboard should look very appealing and you should give the correct information to the end user. Coming to the next visual, that is this particular visual, what I want to change the color of this bar graph. So I can come over here in general or in the data color, and I can select a color of my choice on the data color option, and I've changed it. Now you can also play with the x-axis and the y-axis. The x-axis is the state and the y-axis total sales. You can change the size of the text. You can change the color of the x-axis here, data, and keep it yellow. You can see the color has changed. You can keep it to any other color, dark colors. The same thing you can do for, you can change the font family, the font style. You can select the font style from here as of your own convenience. The same thing you can do for y-axis. You can come to the y-axis and you can just play around with these options over here. You can change the color, the text size, the font size, the display unit. If I select the display unit as none, it will show the whole value. If you select the display unit as millions, it will show the data as in millions. So it's very important that you should know what kind of data you need to show over here. The next visual is a area chart. So over here, what I am doing, I'm comparing the total sales with the sales last year. Now you can see the legends over here. These are called legends. So the total sales is a light blue color, and last year sales was the dark blue. So you can see the last year sales was less compared to the total sales. You can select this and you can change the colors. You can enable the data labels over here. You can increase the transparency. You can add an image over here at the background. Now adding an image actually is a very, what you can say, it's a very interactive option. You can always select an image similar to your the graphs that you're using. Now, if you're showing sales data, so you can use an image where you can depict the sales of your company. So it's very important that you use the correct image, the correct resolution. There is no as such any predefined standards for using image, but still you can use an image as per the graphs you're using over here. Okay, so coming to the next option over here, I can close this plot area. I can use an image over here. I can disable the title over here. I can see the title has been removed, or you can change the title as per your convenience. You can just click or select it and you can just make it as an area chart. Now guys, it's very important that you use the correct naming convention while creating your chart. And it's very important for you to, and it should be very much clear to the end user when you're using a naming convention for your chart. So it should be very careful. It should be you should be very much clear about the naming convention that you're going to use for creating the chart. Now, the next thing, I've changed the chart title. I can close it over here, and I can give a bit of shadow. And what I can do, I can change the color of the shadow to a yellow one, so it looks quite good. So I'm changing the shadow. The thing is, the shadow should be same for all the color. So what in that case, I can just select this particular option and I can just change the shadow option over here. We can also play around the shadow position. You can keep it inside or outside so that it looks good. Some of the options are not applicable in this chart. You can also go to the visual header and check what are the options over here. So background color I can change. So let me check a background color. If I get a good background color, see what happens. Okay, the border colors will be changed with that. Okay, so you can play around with the transparency. You can just change around with the icon colors, and you can just go to the in-depth for each of the options. So I will just say you just explore it as much as you can, because see, at the end of the day, you should keep your dashboard very simple and interactive. You should not bring too much of options in your dashboard so that it gives a wrong what you can say distraction for the end user. Try to highlight only those informations which are intended for that particular dashboard, avoiding the unwanted information. So the same thing we can do for dashboard 2. We can just go to the dashboard 2 option and we can just do some of the formatting. So I'll select this matrix table and let me go to the format option and give it a border. In the pie chart, let me remove the legends over here. So over here, there's an option called detail. So I've selected the pie chart visual, and what I have done, I have gone to the detail label and I have disabled it. So you can see all the details have been removed. Now let me remove the legends. So what I can do, I can come over here. There might be an option over. Yeah, there's a legend option over here. You disable it and the legends will be moved. Now the pie chart looks quite clear. If you hover your mouse, you can get the information about all the products in terms of their sales. And you can just come over here and give it a border and a shadow. Now I want to keep the shadow inside. The same thing I can do it for this particular chart. Now this chart, what I want this particular chart to be neat and clean. I don't want the x-axis and the y-axis. I want the chart over here showing the quantity if I hover my mouse. In that case, what I can do, I can enable and disable the x-axis and the y-axis. So I have only the quantity in the y-axis and the customer name. So people, the end user can just hover your mouse and you can know, okay, this is the highest quantity that is supplied to Robert. I can change the color from the data color options, and let me select the color as this, and giving it a border will be good, and a shadow, and keeping the shadow inside. The same thing I can do for this chart. So what I can do, I've selected this particular combo chart, and let me come over here and change the data color. So I don't want to edit this chart much more anymore. So what I can do, I can change the profit to a dark black line and an option to this. So you can see that this particular report or this particular dashboard, so I can give it a shadow also, a border and a shadow, which should be inside. So you can see that I have given this particular dashboard as a clean look. It was so messy. There was a lot of information over here, but this particular dashboard, so this particular dashboard gives you minimum visuals, clean visuals, where you can hover your mouse and you can get information as per your convenience. And this particular dashboard gives you a detailed information where we have all the x-axis, y-axis, the slicers, everything. Why can't we change the shadow to this? So you can see that we have given a good interactive look to this particular dashboard. So these are the basic formatting that we will be doing in a day-to-day basis. You can explore it depending on the business scenario. You can format your dashboard as per your wish. So I've discussed about the matrix, the text table, and the formatting option that we can do in a dashboard. The next topic that I'm going to talk about is a theme. So every dashboard has its own theme, and there are certain predefined themes which have already been updated in the Power BI desktop. So for that, you can go to the view, and you can see there is a series of theme over here. So you can select some of the themes over here. For example, this is a solar theme. So if you select this particular theme, you can see the dashboard has changed its colors and the interactivity of the dashboard. You can come to over here and you can select some other theme like Twilight. You can see the dashboard has changed. So you can use a theme option for changing the color of a dashboard, or you can just play around with the theme options. You can also bring some custom theme over here. So you can bring some custom theme, like you can browse over here. Now tap Power BI desktop always selects a .json format theme. If you want to get a theme for your a user defined theme or a custom theme, you can, the theme should be in a .json format. So you can click on this particular theme gallery and you can explore it. There are a lot of themes that are available freely in the internet, and you can bring those theme over here and you can just use the theme in your dashboard. So we can just play around with the theme option over here, and you can just see how this theme, or else there are certain predefined themes over here which you can use for this particular report or for any report that you're using, that you're creating, where you're creating a dashboard and all. So theme is very important because see, there are a lot of organization who have a fixed dashboard template they use in their company. Now it's very important that you should follow the dashboard compliance for each of the organization. Now you cannot use for example, there are a lot of finance companies who have a dedicated dashboard template. You cannot customize that particular dashboard template. In that case, you have to be defined very particular about the theme that you're using. Every company has their own theme which actually represent their vision, represent their business, and that is a signature. Now for example, if you can go for an Airtel logo, talking about a logo, simply Airtel logo is red in color. Now, it's a significant because the color, the image has a very psychological effect on the end user or the consumer. So using a theme is very important, but you should be very careful what kind of theme you are using, keeping in mind the compliance of the company. Now the next example that I'm going to talk about is filters. Now what are filters? Filters are nothing. Filters are helps you to get the intended data by excluding the unwanted data from your report. I repeat, filter is an option which helps you to get the intended data and excluding the unwanted data from your report. Now in Power BI, we have three types of filters: visual level, page level, and report level. Now the filter option is available over here. You can see the filter pane. You can just click on this particular arrow and you can expand this option. Now suppose I want to apply a filter. So there are three filters: filters on this visual, on this page, filters on all the pages. So the first one is visual level filter, the second one is page level filter, the third one is report level filter. Now let us explore what is this filters. Now suppose if I select this particular chart, this table over here, right? And what I can do, I can bring a filter over here in terms of what I can say, state. So I bring the state over here. Now, if I select California from here, only this table will change. The other visuals in this particular dashboard will remain unchanged. Now, if I select Nevada and I unselect California, only the Nevada details will be viewed over here. Now, this particular filter is only applied only for this visual specifically. So that's why it's a visual level filter. Any filter which is applied specifically for any particular visual is just visual level filter. Now, what is a page level filter? Let me remove this filter and let me use the same filter for this particular page. So I'll bring the state over here. Now, page level filter is the filter which is applied only on this particular page. Suppose if I select California, you can see only all the report will show me the details in terms of California. If I select Nevada, you can see all the reports are getting changed in terms of Nevada. So this particular filter is applied only for this particular page. Now the question is, what is a report level filter? We have done the visual level, the page level. The report level filters will be applied in all the pages in this particular screen. So I have opened total of 15 pages. Now if I bring the state over here in the page, all the pages, and if I select the California over here, if I come to this dashboard, this particular dashboard will only show me the report in terms of California. See, I can see the filter over here, right? Now, if I select Nevada, it will only show the details of Nevada. If I select Oregon, and the same will be shown over here, Oregon, you can see. So this particular filter will be applied in all the pages. Then what is a slicer? We cannot change the interactivity of a filter. We cannot change how a filter will interact for all the pages. If a filter is applied in all the pages, it will be applied. We cannot change its interactivity. I don't want this filter to be this page. I want this filter to be only for this page. But again, for this page, I have to come and apply a new filter. So that's a very cumbersome job, right? In Slicer, we have an option to play around with its interactivity, how it interacts with the other report. For example, this is a slicer I'm using over here. If I select this slicer and you come to view, over here there's an option called synchronize slicer. If you click on this option, you can see all the pages over here. And you have an option called synchronize and view. At present, this slicer can be viewed in dashboard 1 because it is applied over here. Now, if I want to view this slicer in dashboard 2, and I want to interact this slicer should also work for dashboard 2 apart from viewing. And if I come to dashboard 2, you can see the slicer is over here. And if you click the slicer over here, it's changing. So you can change the slicer, how view and the slicer interactivity as per your choice. You can come back to this dashboard one and you can just select the shrink option. You can just select the slicer over here and select, and you can just uncheck this particular box and you can just select any of the pages over here on which we want to apply the slicer, and you want to sync that particular slicer with that page. Now this is the difference between for filter. If you want to have a filter on pages, you cannot change the interactivity. For changing the interactivity, you have to go to each page and apply the filter individually. But in terms of slicer, you declared it once. You don't have to change from visual or you change it. You can just change the interactivity and how it interacts with that particular page. So that's the difference between slicer and filter. So I will request you guys just to explore these options, and I hope you guys will be practicing this particular hands-on, watching this particular video, and you will be able to explore more new things in terms of how you interact with your dashboard and how you can use the slicers and the filters option in dashboard. The next topic that I'm going to talk about is a visual interaction. Now, let me talk about a scenario first before I discuss this particular topic. Now, suppose there can be a scenario where you want some of the visuals in your report to remain static. If you engage a slicer, or if you are applying a filter. Suppose I want the total transaction and the average daily sales to be static. If I change the slicer option, how? I can achieve it through visual interaction. Now suppose if I select this particular slicer and if I go to format option, there is an option over called edit interaction. Now if you hover your mouse over it, you can see it changes how the visual interact when the data points are selected. And when edit mode, select the source visual and choose the behavior using the icons that appear. Now, if I click on this edit interaction, you can see there are certain icons that has been populated for each of the visual. Can you see these icons? Yeah. Now, if I want, these icons will help you to control the interaction of your visuals. Now, the first one is this icon is for none and this icon is for filter. Now, if I select this particular slicer and if I select this icon, let me down this, yeah. If I select this slicer and if I select this icon, means this will not change. And I can do the same thing for the total transaction. Now, if I change the slicer now, I select Austria. You can see that all the visuals have changed, but these two visuals have not changed. So what I have done, I have selected this slicer option. I have gone to edit interaction and I have got these icons beside each of the reports that I have. And what I have done, I've selected the none option. The other icon is a filter option. What does it do? This particular, if you select this particular option for any visual, that visual will become a filter. For example, let me unselect this and let me select all. Now, if I select this particular icon, now if I select this particular visual and if I click this filter over here for this particular bar graph, and if I select California, you can see that only the California details will be highlighted. If I select Nevada, only Nevada transaction will be highlighted. If I see Wing Hong, only those transactions will be highlighted. So I am using this particular visual as a filter. So if you select this particular icon for any of the visual, that visual will become the filter, and it will be filtering, it will be interacting with the other visuals. So if you select this particular slicer again, and if I unselect this, now this selection will be normal. So edit interaction is a very important concept, but however, it's very rarely used in day-to-day operations of a reporting manager or a BI professional. But still, I find it very useful sometimes, because whenever I'm using visuals like this kind of cards and I don't want to change the visual, because generally I want this, when I use cards in my dashboard, I try to keep it static. I don't want the cards value to change. So I always try to keep the edit interaction option only for to the level of cards, because the cards value gives a static value. I don't want the cards value to be dynamic. So generally I keep values like profit, sales, quantity, highest sales kind of values in the card option. And so I'll use an edit interaction option to keep this kind of card value remain static as much as possible. So the next topic that I'm going to talk about is drill through. Now, what is drill through? Drill through is a way or is a step of toggling between the reports. You can access one report through another report. How? Let me take a scenario. Let me come to this dashboard. Now what I want, I have a pie chart which contains the product information, correct? Now what I can do, let me remove this edit interaction option. Fine. So what I want, in order to apply drill through, as a drill through, as I said, is a method of toggling between two reports. Now, when I say toggling between two reports, it's a way by which we access one report through another. Now, for example, let me give you a small scenario. I have this particular pie chart with me. So I want to know, so this particular pie chart contains the product details in terms of sales. So I want to know in which country this product was sold through this particular option. So I want to know the country details in terms of sales where this particular product like external lock washer 7 was sold. How we can do that? We can achieve that through drill through. Now let me take a new page and create a simple report over here. So let me take a card and let me bring the product name over the card. And what I can do, I can just bring the card in the middle and I can extend it, give it a little bit of format. So I want the category not to be there and I want the border to be there. And let me select one more chart, a bar graph. And let me bring the country in the axis and the sales to the value. Now what I have done, I have created a, let me give a border to it so that it looks good. So what I have done, I have taken a chart which shows the country-wise sales. Now what I will do with the help of a drill through option, I will only need to see the country for a sale of a particular product. So I have taken a card which shows the product name. Now what I can do for this, if I come over here and if I see under visualization pane, there is an option called drill through. What I will do, I'll take the product name and I will update this particular column over here. Let me show you again. Under the visualization pane in this particular page, there is an option called drill through. Under drill through, there is a field over here. So you can we'll bring the product name over here and you can release your mouse. And you can rename this page as drill through. Now that I've updated this drill through option over here, let me go to the dashboard. Now, the moment I go to this particular chart, you can see if I hover my mouse, there's an option coming called right click to drill through. So if I do a right click over here, there's a drill through option. In this drill through, we can see the report page that I have created. You can see that drill through, right? So what I have to do, remember the name of this particular product. It is external lock washer 7, right? If I right click over here, go to drill through, click on this, I'll be taken to this particular page and where I can see the external lock washer was sold at Denmark. I can click on this back button over here and let me check once more, is there any filter applied over here? The same thing if I do over here, suppose this particular or this chain ring bolts. If I do a right click over here, go to drill through, click on drill through, I'll be taken to this page where chaining bolts will be shown as a Denmark. Now suppose I want to click on this particular value. This product name is decal2. If I do a right click over here, I click on drill through and I go, so I can see decal2 has been sold in these countries and these are the sales figure. The same thing, again I'll go to this particular chart and this time let me select mountain end caps. So I'll do a right click over here, go to drill through, click on drill through, and you can see mountain end caps has been sold in this part of the country. So this was a drill through by which we can interact with two visuals by making one particular visual as a point of interaction. Now, important thing that you need to keep in mind that the product, the item, the component on which you are creating drill through, that item should be available over here. For example, here you are creating a drill through on the product name. So the visual through which you're interacting the other visuals in order to get the sales report, that visual should contains the product name. So over here, this particular donut chart has a product name. So we are able to access this drill through report with the help of this donut chart. This was our drill through option. Now, the next is drill down. Now, what is a drill down? The best example of a drill down, you can see this matrix table. In this matrix table, when I select it, you can see there are certain symbols over here. The arrows, the downward arrow, the upward arrow. These are the drill down options. If you click on this downward or upward arrow, you can see you're going back from month to quarter and through years. Now, if you click on this downward arrow, you can again drill down to quarters, months, and days in terms of 2019 and 2020 sales. Now, what if I want this kind of hierarchy or this kind of drill down in a visual level? Let me show you how. I'll take a new page and let me name this page as drill down. And what I can do, I can take a bar graph And I can bring a date over here. And I can bring the profit in the value. Now, the moment I bring the date, you can see I can get similar symbols or arrow mark over here. Now, if I click on this downward arrow, see, I have taken the profit in terms of quarter. If I further click on this downward arrow, the profit has been taken to in terms of months. And if I further click on this arrow, I can see in terms of days. Now over here, the days numbered are quite continuous in nature, right? You have got 35 till number, but we don't have 35 days in a month. In that case, what you can do, you can change it. You can select this particular chart, come to the format option. In the x-axis, the type is continuous. Make it categorical. And you can see 31 days over here. Now, what if I want to bring the countries over here? So I'll select this option and I can bring the country under the date. Now, if I click on one small level, from the day level, I've got to the country level. What if I want to know the customer names on where the profit has been made? I can bring the customer name over here. And there's one more layer of hierarchy created. And if I click over there, I get the customer level. Now, suppose if I remove the date column from here, I have left with country and customer, right? So I can go above from the country level. If I click on this downward arrow, I got the customer in terms of profit. So drill down is a concept where we are applying in the same visual. This is also kind of toggling into the visual, but instead of going to the different page, we are creating a single visual and we are going to the next level of details by using the drill down option. So both the option drill through and drill down are very important in terms of toggling with the report. Now it is the business scenario that we need to understand where we have to apply the drill through and the drill down option. And it's a very important question in the interview. What is the difference between drill through and drill down? The basic difference is that in drill through, we interact between two visuals on a different page, and in drill down, we interact in the same visual. We use the same visual and we go to the next level of details by using that particular visuals instead of accessing another page. The next topic that I'm going to talk about is a very interesting topic, that is bookmarks. Now, what are bookmarks? In real world scenario, whenever we read a book, and if you're in the middle of a particular subject, we keep a bookmark. And next time when we start reading, we start from that particular point where we have bookmarked the page, right? The same thing we can do in Power BI. How? Let me take this particular example over here. Now I want to have a bookmark in this particular dashboard. Bookmark, what it does, it saves the particular state of your dashboard. And it helps you to create stories out of your data. Now, stories is a very important thing. You can create a bookmark and you can save that particular state of your dashboard. How? Let us see. Now, the bookmark option is available in the view menu. Over here, you can see the bookmark. Now, bookmark and selection pane both goes parallelly. Let us see a small example of bookmark and selection pane. So what we can do, we can select this bookmark option over here, and you can see the bookmark pane has been activated. And I'll also select the selection pane. Now with this selection pane, what it does, let me bring it down over here. Let me hide this option. Yeah, hide this field option also. I don't require this option as of now. Now what it does, the selection pane will show you all the reports that are there over here. The total sales, if you select the report, the total sales, the quantity sales, the total sales by product, and the metrics over here. Now, how to work with bookmark? Suppose I want to save this particular state of this dashboard. What I can do, I can go to bookmark, click on add and create a bookmark. So I create a bookmark, I double click on this option and I name it as sales. I've created my first bookmark. And what I need to do, I do a right click on this and I have to update this bookmark. So I have created my first bookmark. Now, the second bookmark that I want to create, I want to show only this particular pie chart. So what I can do, I can select this pie chart and click on focus. There's an option over here. This option you can see, focus mode. You can click on focus and you can create one more bookmark and you can name it as donut chart. And I can just update it. Now I can report. The next report that I want only this particular chart to be shown. I don't want these charts to be available. So what I can do, from the selection pane, I can select the charts over here, right? So what I can do in the selection pane, I can just, you can see this I mark over here. You can just uncheck. You need to select this I mark and all the charts will be moved and only this chart will be there. So what I can do, I can create one more bookmark and I can select this add combo chart. So what I'm doing, I'm actually creating a story out of this report and I'm saving each state of that story as a bookmark. Now that I've created the bookmark, let me update it. Let us see the bookmark. You can view the bookmark that you have created. You can click on this bookmark and you can see below there is a bookmark pen that has been updated, which contains 3 bookmarks. The first is sales. If you can click on this arrow over here, the second is the donut chart and the third is the combo chart. So I have created 3 bookmarks and I have able to view all these 3 bookmarks. Now this kind of bookmarks are very important when you're presenting a report to a large crowd or there are a lot of number of end users who are not actually interested in all the parts of the report. Some may be only interested in the donut. So for them, you can't just toggle between you cannot just create a separate donut chart because you have to then toggle between the page. So there's no point of creating a dashboard. In that case, you can use a bookmark option for a particular type of audience. You can focus on a particular visual. And that's a very handy option, bookmark. I use it in my day-to-day operations. So you can use the selection pane and you can use a bookmark pane to create beautiful bookmarks. You can just create a story out of your data where you can present it to the end user. And each state, from one state to another state, you can go directly with the help of a bookmark. So you can create n number of bookmarks from your report. Bookmark is a very handy option. You can use it and it's a very, what you can say, it's a very interactive option of Power BI desktop, which actually gives the user the intended information from the dashboard. So this was all about the bookmark that I wanted to discuss. The next topic that I'm going to discuss is about maps, how we can use maps in Power BI. The next topic that I'm going to talk about is maps. Now, maps is a very important topic in Power BI because it is used for showing the geographical information. Whenever we use some geographical component in some showing in terms of profit or sales, we use a map feature in Power BI. Now there are 3 types of maps that are there in the Power BI desktop. But the most commonly used map is a field map and a bullet map. Now let us see, or a symbol map you can see. Now let us see the types of map that are available in Power BI. If you hover your mouse over here, this is one type of map. This is a field map and this is an ArcGIS map. An ArcGIS map is a map which is used to show special geographical components like election zone, a school boundary, a special economic zone. So these are not normal geographical component like cities or offices or restaurants. These are not uh, special geographical features. Special geographical features are like a school boundary, a election zone, a volcanic eruption zone. These are the special geographical components which are not, we don't get generally in the common maps. Now let us see the types of map. Let us implement certain simple maps, and you can see how we can leverage the power of maps in Power BI. So for the first map I'm going to use is a symbol map. So I'll select this map over here. So I've got a blank map over here. Now this particular map has field like location, legends, latitude, longitude. Obviously, if you're talking about map, there will be longitude and latitude features in your data. So this longitude latitude features, you can use it if there is a specific longitude latitude details available in your data. If not, you can use the location. Now for here, let me use a location from the region table. So what I will do, I'll bring the country over here, and I'll bring the total profit from the major table, and I'll leave it on the size. Now you can see if I can enlarge this particular map. So the size of the profit has been marked in terms of bubbles. The bigger the bubble size is, the larger the profit. The smaller the bubble size is, the less the profit. Now the profit has been marked with a symbol. So this is a typical bubble map. You can use a profit, you can use a sales, you can use discounts in terms of a symbol map. So these are the symbol. Now you can come to the format and you can just play around with the colors. You can change the color over here. So for there, you can change it to red. Or you can also change the category over here. Let's see what happens if we change the category. There's nothing much change over here. So some of the options may not be. Okay, so I have enabled the category and you can see the name of the places over here. And you can disable the category also. Now you can change the size of the bubble. You can increase the size. You can make it as far as you can make. And you can minus it. And you can keep it to some level. You can change the size of the bubble over here. Now you can also change the map style. So theme is road. So what if I want to take a dark theme? So this is a theme. It looks beautiful, right? So you can use this kind of options to highlight the things through help of a symbol map. The next map is a field map. Let me take one more new page, and this time let me select this field map. And what I can do, I can bring the same options. So I can bring the profit over the legend this time. Okay, it's not allowing me to bring the profit because I have not updated the region yet. So let me bring the country over the location, and let me bring the profit or the sales this time over the legend. Let me select this map. I guess there's some problem this happening in this cells is not coming over here. Okay, what we can do, we can go back to this particular map And let's convert this symbol map into a field map. So what I can do, I can select this map over here, and just beside the symbol map we have the field map. So if I click on this field map, you can see instead of having the symbol, the profit has been spread up as a field area. So all the area in this particular geographical location, instead of symbol, it has been shifted. The symbol has been converted into a field area. So all the area from the respective options and the states, the countries where the profit has been marked has been filled, and the rest of the area are not highlighted. Unlike the symbol map where there were circles over here, the bubbles were over here, the bubble map you can also say, this particular map has been converted into a field map. So all the profit has been highlighted in terms of field area. The next map is ArcGIS map. Let us see what is an ArcGIS. An ArcGIS map is a special map we don't generally use an ArcGIS map in Power BI. So it's very rarely used depending upon the scenario, like if you're working with a weather report uh, domain, whether you're working with a defense domain. So ArcGIS maps are very helpful in that scenario, because in this kind of domains we'll be using some of the special geographical components, like as I said, special economic zone or election campaign zone or a school boundary. These are certain uncommon geographical features which are not available in normal maps. So in that scenario, we'll use a ArcGIS map. So let us see how an ArcGIS map works with. So let me take a fresh page over here. An ArcGIS map is available in the visualization pane in the last row, third from the left. So I'll just click on this ArcGIS map and I'll try to highlight certain information. So what I can do, I can bring the country over here in the location, and I can bring the profit in the size option over here, and let me expand this map. And what I can do, I can off the layer over here, and you can see this map is getting updated slowly. So we can zoom in over here, and we can see the profit has been marked with certain boundaries over here. And whenever we are hovering our mouse, that particular boundary is getting shrinked off. Now this is a feature of our ArcGIS map. They actually highlights the particular area. In this particular example, we are trying to showcase the profit in terms of ArcGIS map. However, it is better used in terms of defense or a weather forecast, or the weather where we need some uh, uncommon geographical components. An ArcGIS map actually helps you to understand a particular area, and it creates a boundary for each of the segment in the map, keeping it different, keeping it away from the other components that are available around it. And you can see the coastlines and the bound borders are very clearly visible over here. However, in Power BI, we very rarely use a ArcGIS map. The most commonly used map is a field map and a bubble map. I would like to, I will request you guys just to explore this particular feature of maps. You can just bring the profit and the sales, and you can just play around with the bubble map and the field map. And you can explore these particular features of bubble and field map. Now, the most commonly used map which we use in Power BI is a bubble map. It's a very handy map. You can just have individual views for each of the data points that you're bringing in over here, and it gives a very clear picture about any components of your data with the help of a bubble map. Well, let me clear my screen, this one. So this was all the agenda that I wanted to discuss today. In my next session, I'll be continuing my discussion on reports and dashboards, and I'll be talking about how you can schedule refresh and how you apply security, row level security in your data. I hope I was able to clear all the points that were mentioned over here in the pipeline for today's agenda. I would like to request you to please explore these options as much as you can, and you can just get something very new, because this particular application, this particular product, Power BI Desktop, is getting updated every day. So I would be requesting you guys just to explore each of the options, and I hope this particular video will be a very informative experience for all of you. Thank you for watching this video, guys.